Okay, so this is totally an impromptu video idea. Like, I didn't plan to make this at all, but you know what? I've talked about what happened to me in Form 1 between 2014 to 2015 June. So I'm going to continue, and this time I'm going to talk about Form 2, what happened to me in Year 2. So sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, because I'm going to explain what the hell happened to me from the year 2016, from the year 2015 to the year 2016. Now, let me tell you one thing. Form 2, aka 8th grade, is the most insane school year of my life, an insane year of my life in general. Okay, it is pure insanity, it is pure hysteria. I've never ever experienced anything that's even close to as insane as what I've experienced in this school year. I did not anticipate this. Okay, the chaos, the violence, well, not the violence, well, not for me anyways, but the chaos, the mental struggle is so fucking off the charts in these 2 years, and especially in Form 2. You gotta listen to this, man. You gotta hear this. I have to tell the story. I fucking have to. So, Form 2. Let's fucking go. So, let's start off with the first term. So starting off, I'm gonna recap Form 1 a little bit. So, in the beginning of secondary school, I was a cowardly, socially anxious boy who likes to collect information and secrets about the people around me. And I was also very sensitive towards strange people, people who act strange, people who are very hardcore and serious, people who hate the society and hate humanity, people who would do anything, even if it means breaking moral standards in order to defeat their opponents. I was really sensitive to those kind of people, and I made an entire list of people called the Green List about these kinds of people. But that's not the only list I have made. I've actually made a few lists, but all the other lists are basically garbage. I made the Blue List, which I think is also a pretty important list, but the list only consists of 4 people, and these are the people who knows that the world is fucked up, who knows the world is messed up, and tries to maneuver their way around it. And I shamefully put myself in the list, which I, right now, given that I am already 17 years old, I am mature enough to know that that is wrong. I am not that special of a person, and I'm not that smart of a person, nor am I that messed up. I have a pretty decent childhood, and I don't have a bad life. I don't think my life is that bad. Like, I hate it, but I think it's not that bad, really. So, now you know that. The second thing you need to know is that the people in my class... Okay, the second thing that you need to know is how Hong Kong and Asian education system works. So we are all assigned to one class, and we stay in that one classroom. And the teachers, they come to us. We don't move around in the campus. The teachers, they move around. They are the ones who come to our classroom and teach us, and then leave so that the next teacher will come. Meaning that all the people in my class will have the same schedule, okay? Number 3, the people in my class are fucking insane. At least a good portion of them. We have Keith, a sociopath who likes fun, who just wants to have fun, who just wants to entertain himself, and to achieve that, he would manipulate people, he would mess with girls, he would try to hook up with different people, and he would tell lies just to mess things up. He likes chaos. He likes to see chaos. We have Natalie, who has a pretty messed up background, pretty messed up childhood, who has gone through a lot of stuff, and she has clinical depression, has suicidal tendencies, self-harm constantly, and she's also a bit of a masochist. And she and Jordana are also both crazy in that they also have an imaginary god. Jordana is a very cold-blooded, apathetic person who is basically a psychopath in the making. And then we have Bernese, who helped me through all these chaos in the first year of school. She's kind, but she's also very paranoid, and she's always jealous of other people. And then we have Cedric and Mary. Cedric is a really good friend of mine, though he is incredibly dependent, meaning that if there is someone stronger than me, Cedric will betray me and depend on that person. But Cedric nowadays, in 2020, he's not like that anymore. He's an independent, strong boy. Mary is a cute, kind, innocent, sweet, pure girl who is, yeah. But actually, underneath the surface, Mary is also hiding some secrets, and it also has a dark side, which is very obscure and unknown to most people. So, now that you know almost all the people from my class, not almost all the most important people in my class, now we begin Form 2. What you need to know is that in Form 1, our class teachers are Miss Solomon and Mr. Thompson, and they are two of the most infamous teachers in our entire school. Mr. Thompson being a really robotic, somewhat problematic person who is very passionate about physics, and the most dangerous teacher in our school, Miss Solomon, head of the art department. She is a monster, to put it lightly. She is a monster, meaning that she can spend hours and hours of time just to punish you. And it's not because she's evil or anything. She wants to teach people, but her methods are just extreme. Her methods are just very cruel. So, who would have thought that in Form 2, our class teachers would remain the same? It would be Mr. Thompson and Miss Solomon as well. That is rare. It happens very, very, very seldomly. Mr. Thompson and Miss Solomon are assigned to our class once again in the second year. It just goes to show how dangerous my class is. Maybe it's because my class is just too chaotic and the principal wants strict teachers to sort of handle us. That's why the principal, he assigned two of the most strict teachers to handle us. But yeah. And actually, it only made things worse. Things spiraling out of control, more chaos, more beef, more feud, more arguments, more quarrels. It only made things worse. But also, in the beginning of Form 2, I am starting to become friends with Jordana and Linda, which are two girls that I was really, really afraid of in Form 1. But I said, you know what, fuck that. I'm gonna face my demons. I'm gonna face my fear. I'm gonna befriend my demons. You know what? I'm gonna befriend my demons. So I actually managed to befriend Jordana and Linda, which was no easy feat, okay? Jordana, she is, both Jordana and Linda are really rich girls, but more importantly, Jordana is this high-class, emotionless, cold-blooded, dark person, and Linda, Jordana's sidekick, is a very violent person who gets angry really, really easily, and she can beat you up, like beat your ass, like really hard. So being their friends is an honor, to be honest. Like when Jordana and Linda, they talk to me in class, like the people in the classroom, they're like, oh shit, you befriended them? What? So yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. It was a great decision, both a great and a terrible decision on my part. Now, Bernese, who used to be my friend in Form 1, was not so happy about it. She's like, oh my god, Jordana and Linda, they're stealing my friend. They're stealing my friend. I gotta stop my friend from befriending other friends. So Bernese tried to stop me. And I'm like, why? Why are you stopping me from befriending other people? Why are you like this? Let's all be friends. And Bernese was like, nope, they're stealing you. They're stealing you from me. I will not allow that. And so tension between me and Bernese started to heat up. And soon enough, in October 2015, a huge war will break out between me, Jordana, Linda, and Bernese. But that for later. Yeah, first thing. Second thing that happened is the 2 false alarms, and actually one alarm that was actually real, and that is Caroline and Bernese. Bernese and Cedric, they were dating, and Caroline and Cedric became, I guess, kind of close, but platonic, of course. And Bernese was like, "Oh my God, Caroline's trying to steal my boyfriend! Oh my gosh!" So Bernese and Cedric, they argued. Bernese was like, "Why didn't you block Caroline on all social medias?" And Cedric was like, we're friends. We're friends. Why are you so afraid? Why are you so jealous?" But given that it is Bernese was like, "Oh my God, Cedric betrayed me. I trusted him, man. I trusted him." So there's this whole Caroline versus Bernese thing that kind of ended when I persuaded Bernese to end this. I told Bernese, "Hey man, it's platonic. Cedric and Caroline, they're platonic. Besides, you're not gonna get hurt. Caroline will not spread bad shit about you if you don't attack Caroline first." And Bernese was like, you have a point. So yeah, on the same day, Bernese gave me a Coldplay 4 CD box set, which I really like. So thank you, Bernese, for giving me one of my favorite birthday gifts ever. I mean, I don't receive all that many birthday gifts, but she remembers my birthday. And then we have the 2 false alarms, one of which is suddenly Bernese tells me that Jordana hates me, I think. And I was like, what? No way. I didn't do anything to Jordana. Why would she suddenly hate me? And then I asked Jordana myself, and Jordana was like, what? No, I don't hate you. And Bernese was like, oh, Dad, just a misunderstanding. Nothing. And then the other thing, I forgot what happened exactly, but it was like Linda, she hates Bernese now, or something like that. And I'm like, wow, cool your jets. Don't fight. No. And it turns out Linda doesn't hate Bernese yet. But these are basically the 2 false alarms. I and Jordana, we become closer and closer and closer, to a point where Jordana begins to actually trust me for some reason, and it's strange. Like, it actually didn't take me that long to gain Jordana's trust. Maybe it's because Jordana already gained my trust. That's why I gained Jordana's trust, because I showed Jordana my diaries, and back then I only had 1 diary, and Jordana read some of them and was like, "Oh wow, you know a lot about people. Oh, you're crazy," but in a good way. And then one time in a music class is necessary, by the way. Jordana was sitting beside me because her family name and my family name were similar, so we have similar class numbers. I was 14, she was 15, I think. So we sat beside one another and we just talked. And Jordana started to reveal things about herself that she normally wouldn't reveal to other people. She told me that she is a messed up person. She told me that she's dark. She likes the darkness. She's not a good person. She told me that something happened to her in elementary school in 4th grade, but she wouldn't tell me what happened. But she said that incident changed her and made her a person who likes loneliness and likes darkness. One time, Jordana told me that she keeps on seeing this guy in her dreams every single night, even though this guy isn't real in real life, and this guy's name is Sky, S-K-Y. And she told me that Sky has special powers, and Sky and her have a relationship as well, and that Sky wears a white polo shirt and blue short jeans. And I was like, okay, it's a little weird, but I'll trust you. Yeah, Jordana, the truth about Jordana. Now, afterwards, we have the Bernese versus Jennifer fight. So, in the PE class, for some reason, I guess our PE teachers, the coaches, they ran out of ideas. But at one point, they told us to, you know what, just dance. Just pick a song, form groups, and dance, and we'll give you scores, okay? It's gonna be in your, final yearly PE exams. And we're like, oh wow, I fucking hate that. Nobody can dance, okay? None of us can actually dance. And so Bernese and Jennifer, they were in the same group. And it's not like they ask for it or anything. I mean, when we are forced to form groups, chaos is bound to happen because some people don't like to be with some other particular people. But when you form groups, that kind of have to happen because no one can all be winners, Anyways, Bernese and Jennifer, they had a disagreement on choosing which song to dance to. So they argued, and there's this huge argument. Bernese cried, Jennifer cried, and everyone around them were like, oh my god, they're having a huge beef, they're having a huge feud. And this is strange, because it's not just any kind of feud. To me, after Bernese cried, I saw Jordana talking to Bernese. And then afterwards, I saw Natalie talking to Bernese. And then afterwards, I saw Keith talking to Bernese. And I'm like, the blue list is real. It's almost like destiny that those three people have to talk to Bernese. Like, it's almost like destiny. It cannot be a coincidence, right? So I was really convinced that blue list is real and that me, Keith, Jordana, and Natalie, we are like the special four. Again, I'm ashamed to admit this, by the way. Like years later, I would go on and realize that me, Keith, Jordana, and Natalie are nothing like one another, and we have no compatibility whatsoever. Maybe I and Natalie, we can be friends, but other than that, us four, it's never going to work out. And us four, we are actually very different, especially for me. Like, I'm actually not that special of a person. I'm actually really normal. I'm actually, like, in comparison with Natalie, Keith, and Jordana, I'm the sanest one, okay? I am the most normal one. My thoughts are the most normal. Like Keith, Jordana, Natalie, they are really violent and messed up. Like they have some really, really fucked up thoughts that I normally wouldn't have unless I'm trying to be edgy. So, yeah. Anyways, Bernese versus Jennifer. This thing blew over quick. This thing ended quick. Bernese and Jennifer, they forgave one another. It was a relief for me because I was still a pacifist. I still like to keep the peace and keep the class in control. But I started to have a liking to chaos when Bernese finally snapped on me. She walked up to me and said, I don't know how long will our relationship last. Word by word, literal translation from Cantonese to English. I don't know how long will our relationship last. And, yeah. And then one day, it was mid-October, we had a seat change. And Pete, this new kid who joined our class, this really naughty boy, tan skin, very athletic, he and Bernese ganged up on me, basically. They stole my diary and they stole my pencil case. And Pete stole my protractor. Not really a protractor, but it's like a circular ruler. And he snapped it. Like, he broke it into 3 pieces. And that really pissed me off. But you know what pisses me off? My diary. My diary, it's really important, okay? You don't just steal one's diary. Like, sacred information is stored in this damn book. You can't steal it. So I walked over to Bernese. I tried to take back my diary. And Bernese was like, "Don't follow me. Don't follow me, unless you want your diary back." So I followed her, and you know, I'm not a violent person. I'm not gonna hit a girl, okay? So I was like, come on, please give me back my diary. What the hell did I do to you? Please, I'm sure we can talk it out. And then we arrived at a mall. We walked all the way to a mall nearby, near the school. And Bernese and Cedric, they were still dating. So Bernese, Cedric, and me, we were in this mall. And Cedric's like, I want no part of this. And Cedric walked away. And Bernese went up to me and said, "You're trying to abandon me, aren't you? You're trying to befriend Jordana and Linda and abandon me, aren't you? you're in deep trouble. Don't talk to me ever again. I know you hate me." And I'm like, "I don't hate you. Why are you so angry to me?" And Bernese was like, "I'm angry towards you because I care about you," but it doesn't seem so because she's such a douchebag, stealing my goddamn diary. Come on, who does that? Of course I was angry, but instead of feeling like I've lost, I actually felt like I've won. I actually felt super excited for some reason because I know that this is the perfect opportunity for me to free myself from Bernese and start to actually team up with Bernese and Linda and Natalie to fight against Bernese. And this is how the Bernese War started. So I'm back. It's 4 p.m. on July, I think it's 18th. So let's continue with what the hell happened to me in Form 2, the craziest fucking year of my life. So, Bernese War. Let's talk about Bernese War. I wrote a very quick rundown of all the important things that had happened to me in Form 2. So all the lesser important things, I'm not gonna mention them. Okay, they are weird, they're crazy, they're freaky, but I'm not gonna mention them because it wastes time. Bernese War, though, this is probably the most important war in my life. This is the biggest one and the most important one. Fun fact, after Form 3, for me anyways, I have not participated in a war anymore. So here's the awkward thing. I actually filmed this part already, but for some reason those videos disappeared, they corrupted, or just vanished in thin air. I don't know what happened to them. When I was just editing the recap video for Form 2 and I realized, wait, a whole chunk of videos are missing. So I'm just gonna refilm these videos now. So right now it is July 28th. July 26th. Today is July 26th. And I originally filmed all of this in July 18th. So it's been 8 days. Anyways, I talked about what happened after Pete decided to break my protractor, and Bernese basically stole my diary, and I went after her. And I still remember, I forgot if I said this in the video or not, but Bernese took my diary and I tried to follow her, and she's like, "Don't follow me unless you want your diary back." So, okay, anyways, after the thing, in the next morning, instead of feeling really angry, I was actually feeling excited because I've always been wanting to work with these people for a very, very long time. People like Natalie, Jordana, Linda, and apparently for a while I thought I and Natalie, we were not friends until the whole Bernese thing, but it actually doesn't make sense. So I backtracked a little bit on my diary, and I found out that I and Natalie, we were already speaking to one another on October 12th, and that is actually the earliest record of us talking to each other, even though I know that maybe a little bit earlier on, maybe we've also talked. But at around October 12th, I and Natalie, we were already talking about some deep stuff. Like, Natalie would admit that she's crazy and suicidal and would have these auditory hallucinations and whatnot. But anyways, conveniently, Bernese decided to declare war on me. Stealing my diaries, declaring war, okay? My diaries, they are sacred. They're sacred. So I teamed up with Natalie. I WhatsApped her, and she's like, "Yeah, let's bully Bernese, And and I also texted Mary, though I find it strange. I never added Mary into our WhatsApp group, because there originally was a WhatsApp group. Okay, anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. So I texted Mary, and usually Mary's the kind of person who's like, "Oh, I don't care, I don't give a shit." But when I told Mary about what Bernese did to me, Mary's like, "Wow, she's a bitch." And I'm like, "Yeah." So Mary did help me. Mary did help me in this war a little bit, but only for a little bit, which is confusing to me. Like, Mary could have done so much more, and I could have let Mary be involved so much more. But I guess the reason why I didn't actually involve Mary in this war too much is because I already know that Mary had gone through enough drama, and I just hope that she has a good life, you know? I just don't want to bother her that much. Okay, anyways, the next day, and again, I don't know why. I could have texted Jordana and Linda, but I guess I didn't. Actually, I think it's because Jordana back then doesn't have WhatsApp. But anyways, on the next day, on the next morning, I wrote a piece of paper. I wrote the plan, okay, my plan, my battle plan, my war plan on a piece of paper, and I think I told Queenie to tell Jordana and Linda to not go into the classroom. So I walked out of the classroom, and Jordana and Linda are waiting for me outside of the classroom in the corridor, in the hallway. Not really the hallway, more like the corridor. And I gave them my piece of paper, and they saw it and stuff. And when people walk past us, like they would hide it behind their backs or hide it on and then it would be really cool, like, oh, you know, we're really, you know, making a plan here, you know, we're really fighting. And I know for a fact that back in the days, back in Form 1, because Bernese is actually a very hateable person, right? So back in Form 1 there is actually a WhatsApp group just dedicated to hating on Bernese. And I asked Linda if that group's still there, or Jordana, and they're like, nope. So I'm like, fine, I'll just add you onto my group. So originally, me, Bernese, Cedric, we have a WhatsApp group to attack Arthur. And Edward was actually the one who started the WhatsApp group because we wanted to attack Keith. That was our first thing, really. And then Edward left, so it's just me and Bernese, and then I added Cedric. I think, I forgot if I've added Mary. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but I remember that there's another WhatsApp group called the Crazy Family where it's just me, Bernese, Cedric, Mary, and Umbrielle. And at some point, Wendy also joined the group. I forgot why, but at some point, I think it was in Form 1, like mid-Form 1-ish, when there's a lot of drama, like Wendy joined the group for a little while and left. Anyways, of course, Bernese left that group at that point, so it was just me and Cedric, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna add all of you, and we're gonna make this group the new group used to attack Bernese. So I added Jordana, Linda, and Natalie. So us 5, okay? Jordana and Linda, they are 2 very powerful, dangerous people. Natalie is also very dangerous, very smart. Cedric, he's helpful. And then we have Bernese. And then we have me, the detective, okay? So, what happened was that Cedric broke up with Bernese, because if you forgot, Bernese and Cedric, they were actually dating, so you'd think, oh, Cedric is my friend, and Cedric's dating Bernese, and Bernese and I, we're in a war, okay? So what would Cedric do? And Cedric eventually chose to break up with Bernese because Cedric himself is already fed up with all the drama and all the I hate you, she hates me, all that stuff. So Cedric broke up with Bernese, and Cedric told me one time we were, you know, sort of walking on the streets, and Cedric's like, hey, there's a spy! Bernese has a spy! And I'm like, wait, who? And then Cedric said, it's Keith! Keith is a spy! And Cedric told me that when Bernese stole my diary, she took as many photos, or she took at least some photos of my diary and saved it in her Google Drive. Which is ridiculous. You can't do that. That's my diary, okay? That is my property. And the stuff, the content in my diary, it's you know, it's serious. So I got really scared. I don't know if it's true or not, but I got really scared. So this is where Mary comes in. I asked Mary to do one thing for me. And that is I don't know why did I want Mary to help. I guess it's because I trust Mary a lot. But anyways, I asked Mary to ask Bernese what is her plan, okay? And it didn't work out. Like, it was awkward. It was in one recess, and Mary's like, are you sure? And Mary just walked up to Bernese and asked her stuff like, you know, how's everything, you know, and it didn't work out. And I'm like, oh, fine, you know what, I won't bother you, you know, whatever, sorry. So at the end, Mary did try to help me, but never succeeded, and I just kind of, I just don't want to bother her anymore. Anyways, I don't know how, but somehow Miss Solomon and Mr. Thompson knew about this war. Maybe it's because Keith, while I'm not 100% sure that Keith is on Bernice's side, even though I know that, Keith and Bernese at some points in Form 1, Keith and Bernese, they were pretty close to one another. Keith would buy these candies beside the bus stop for Bernese and her mom is very childish. And and Keith, Keith is really close to Miss Solomon and Mr. Thompson. Like, Keith had earned their trust. So what happened was that Mr. Thompson asked Jordana herself, just one-on-one. He asked Jordana if she's planning on to making everyone ignore Bernese. And given the pathological liar that Jordana is, Jordana denied, of course. But the madness does not stop. Miss Solomon, okay? She somehow saw that on WhatsApp I used a photo of her, but it was actually a class photo. I just cropped it so that's just her face because she's such a hateable teacher. Okay, so I used it and it's like a meme. And so Miss Solomon had a very, very good reason to bully me, basically. So one time, he told me, okay, I have the diary. I'm going to show you the thing. So this is my Form 2A diary. Now, oh my god. You can tell I was really angry. Like I wasn't even that angry when Bernese stole my diary, but I was this angry when Miss Solomon decided to lock me in her art room for 2 hours straight. So one morning she told me to, can you come to my room, my art room, after school? And of course, if I deny it, she can just give me a black mark and I'd be screwed. So I have to go there. You can tell how upset I was. So that was November 16th. Now, what happened was that I entered art room, and Miss Solomon gave me, and originally there was one other person in that room, but that person left. And after that person left, Miss Solomon went to the door and locked it. And she gave me a piece of blank paper and a pen. And she told me to write down every mistake I've made in my life. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm confused. Like, how? And then she's like, am I not clear enough? And I'm like, no, you're clear. And then so I sat down and I wrote down whatever mistake I can think of. And I was really smart about this, like I write down everything that I'm sure Miss Solomon knows about, and I try to avoid everything that Miss Solomon doesn't know about. So Miss Solomon clearly knows about the whole Arthur thing, so I wrote down, I tried to steal Arthur's wallet. I told Arthur, be careful, because I was playful. I chatted during class. I talked during class. I handed assignment in late, I was late to school a few times. There was a prank that gone wrong with Ronald, all that stuff. And so I gave her this piece of paper. And then she's like, have you used my photo in the WhatsApp group? And I'm like, well, it's just a class photo, it's everyone. Then she's like, write it down, plus you need to write 2 apology letters to both me and Mr. Thompson. So at the end, I actually did. And then Miss Solomon's like, did you? Or more like, did Bernese steal your diary? And I'm like, in my heart, I'm like, it's like on the surface, in the front, I'm like pretending to be like innocent. Inside, I'm like, what the fuck? How do you even know all this? How in the actual fuck did you know all this? This is not even any of your business. Bernese steals my diary. That's none of your goddamn business, okay? But Miss Solomon knows, and there's only one possible explanation, and that is Keith. Keith is secretly working with Bernese, conspiring against my team, and is secretly snitching on me and telling Miss Solomon and Mr. Thompson about all this. And Mr. Thompson even knows that I and Jordana and Linda are working. So it's probably Bernese who told Keith that I and Jordana and Linda are working. And, like, come on. Like, there's only a certain level of evilness a teacher can reach to. How did you manage to cross that line? How? Anyways, so I'm like, yeah. And even so, it's not my fault. Which part of it is my fault? My diary got stolen. Am I not being careful enough? So anyways, I wrote down, okay, Bernese stole my diary. And there's this one other incident, which is really funny, and I didn't say anything about it because I have to, if Miss Solomon did an oopsie, if Miss Solomon does a mistake, I must let it happen. I cannot stop her from making a mistake, because then if she doesn't make a mistake, then I make a mistake. It's us versus them. So Miss Solomon told me to identify who is the person who helped me tell Arthur to be careful. And by the way, that was November 2015, okay? The Arthur War, that was January 2015. That was so long ago. Like, how are you still hanging on this? But Miss Solomon told me to identify who it was. So she showed a whole list of photos, because everyone who goes to school needs to take a photo, and I need to identify. And I was like, okay, man, I can't lie, I can't say it, I can't just point at a random person. So I actually pointed to Arthur's friend, the exact person who helped me warn Arthur and tell him be careful in the Arthur War. And then Miss Solomon checked his name, and it was a wrong name. Like, it wasn't his actual name, it was the wrong name. And I didn't say anything. I'm like, yeah, that's his name. Yeah, so at least there's that. At least there's that. But still, Miss Solomon tried to threaten my life, or threaten my school life, by locking me in her art room for 2 hours and telling me to write down all of these mistakes. And then afterwards, she ain't done. She told me to write down like one Chinese idiom, basically meaning if you don't want this to happen to yourself, don't make it happen on others. And then she told me to add a parent signature. Like, she needs to make sure that my parents see this. Yeah, she's fucking insane. So afterwards, it was already 6 p.m. and the sun is down, alright? And I walked to the bus stop, and when I was walking towards my bus stop, I saw someone to my right, and it's a woman, kind of fat, short. It's Miss Solomon. Like, how? Like, I get it, okay? You want to teach students. You want to tell them to be good boys and good girls. Don't hate others. Let's be peaceful. Let's be respectful. I get it. You don't have to follow your students outside of the fucking school in order to teach them a fucking lesson. You have to be out of your goddamn mind, okay? To do something this extreme, to lock them in the art room for 2 hours to mentally, psychologically torture them, and then afterwards, that's not even enough. You need to force his or her parents to know what's going on, and then you follow that student to the bus. That is absolutely insane. Okay, how? Your mind must not be normal, okay? You cannot do that. You're a teacher, okay? You're supposed to teach. You're not supposed to do all these devious things, and you don't even have a good explanation for it. Like a teacher can spank a child back in like 100 years ago and be like, oh, because I this is punishment. But you follow a student, what for? To psychologically attack him? This is downright insane, and the war's on, baby. The war's on. Miss Solomon, she doesn't threaten me, okay? I was so pissed after this, but guess what? Because she's doing this, now the war is truly on, okay? Now the teachers, Miss Solomon, Mr. Thompson, they're on to it. Keith, easily one of the most dangerous, the most manipulative, the most calculated person who is extremely evil, is downright a sociopath. And Bernese, my old friend, they are against us. It's us versus them. And in my side, I have Natalie, Jordana, Linda, Cedric, and it's just us versus them. This is the war of the ages, and it's just, oh my god, the war is on. And throughout this period, I love going to school. I wake up every morning because I want to be in this war, okay? It's so fun. This war is so much fun. I love it, okay? I love it. Yeah. You know, and this isn't the only time. Like, after this, Miss Solomon would tell me to go to her art room almost every lunchtime, and she would punish me by telling me to recite Chinese poems and sort of write them down over and over and over and over again. But I'm not bent. I'm still not bent. Given how headstrong of a person I am, I still want to go to war, okay? I'm still not defeated. No, your tricks, they don't work on me, huh? They don't work on me. So basically, she followed me, and when I noticed it, of course, being the fucking detective, okay? Of course I could see her beside me. I immediately did a 180 and just ran the other direction. Just fuck you. So that's what happened. Miss Solomon's insane. She is insane. You know that one time we were like 2 seconds late for her class, and she was really mad about it. So she made all of us line up, and she called all of our parents one by one each, because she wants to tell the entire goddamn world that we were late for her class for 2 goddamn seconds. It really sucks when Miss Solomon is working with my enemies. Anyways, very quickly we move over to part 3 of the war. Oh, actually, I don't know if it's in part 2 or part 3 or which part, when was it, but suddenly there's another sea change. And instead of sitting in front of Jordana, I sat behind Bernese. Oh yeah, that was earlier, because Bernese sat in front of me, she was able to steal my diary. That makes sense. But because of this sea change, I talked to the person behind me, who is actually Bernese's friend as well, Umbriel. And Umbriel and I, we were originally friends. We were in the Crazy Family back in Form 1, second term. Remember that? And yeah, that was awkward. Anyways, part 3. What happened was that Edward was suddenly interested in what's going on, because Edward's a huge drama person. So Cedric, Edward, we went to a nearby McDonald's. We sat down and we started discussing like what's going on. Bernese working with Keith, working with Pete, working with Miss Solomon and Mr. Thompson and her mom, attacking me, Natalie, Cedric himself, Jordana, Linda, and there's a huge war going on, and Edward's actually interested, like, oh my god, what's going on? And then suddenly, guess what the fuck happened afterwards? Of course, we cannot take a break. This is a war. It's a war going on. You can't take a fucking break in the war. Me, Cedric, Edward, we were in the McDonald's. And right outside the entrance of the McDonald's, Bernese and her mother shows up. Fantastic. And we were like, abort mission, abort mission. So, and I tried to like divert the attention so it's not three of us running away. Like, that's fucking stupid. If you want to escape, split up. If you want to escape and not be noticed, split up. So I and Edward, we left through the back door of the McDonald's. So how do I illustrate this? This is McDonald's, right? And we were in here, and Bernese and her mother is here. So I and Edward, we went out the back door to the outdoors and went back to the mall in another entrance. And then Cedric went to Bernese. And Bernese did see Cedric, of course, and asked Cedric questions. And Cedric was left with no choice but to betray me once again. And Cedric told Bernese my plan. My plan was to ally with Jeffrey, because I know that Keith had wronged Jeffrey, and I know that Jeffrey's a really smart person. So I wanted to ally with Jeffrey. And then Cedric told Bernese that I wanted to ally with Jeffrey. And Bernese's mom, she hates me. She originally likes me a lot. Like, I'm this innocent, cute boy with a fascination of the world. Psych. And now Bernese's mom hates my guts. Or at the time anyways. I don't know now. Maybe she forgot about me. And then I and Edward just escaped. Like, he just ran to the bus and just left the fucking district. Just gone. I stayed around because I want to know what's going on. I want to know if Cedric's gonna, betray me or anything, which he kind of did. But I mean, he was left with no choice, so I don't hate him for it or anything. I hid behind a pillar, right? There's a pillar. I hid behind it. I'm right here. And then Cedric and Bernese and Bernese's mom in a distance. And I tried to run away, and right when I run away, Bernese saw me. I was left with no choice but to immediately run into a bus, get on it, and leave. That happened. So obviously we were on the losing side. But it wasn't until, I think, mid-November when one day when I was waiting for a bus, Jeffrey came up to me. Originally I wanted to ally with Jeffrey, but I was like, okay, Bernese knows it, right? So, okay, now I guess I'm not gonna... But no, Jeffrey came to me. Jeffrey went up to me and asked, hey, do you mind if I ask you a question? And I and Jeffrey, we weren't close, so I was like, okay. Jeffrey's like, do you hate Bernese? And I'm like, why are you asking it? Jeffrey's like, I fucking hate Bernese. And I'm like, me too. So I and Jeffrey, we teamed up, and I added Jeffrey into my group, which was also a wrong decision because of what happened half a year later. But in that moment, it was a fantastic decision. Okay, 6 of us. Team Cyan is formed. Me, Cedric, Jeffrey, Natalie, Jordana, Linda. 6 of us. We are strong, smart, messed up, insane, freaky, and we're about to friggin' fight people, okay? We're about to take people down. This leads over to part 4, where Natalie, she has mental issues. She has issues, family issues. She self-harms and is very suicidal. So she always speaks to this social worker. And Natalie told this social worker a lot about me and Bernese and what's going on, the war. And the social worker's like, hey, I'm on your side, So one day, Natalie decided to make a move. Because ultimately, while Miss Solomon is evil, she isn't evil. Like, there must be a really, really damn good reason for Miss Solomon to side with Keith and Bernese. But the truth is, Miss Solomon, she just wants to punish some kids, So Natalie went up to Miss Solomon and told her, and actually showed her, that Bernese called Natalie a bitch in WhatsApp. And because of that, hell broke loose. Chaos happened. At one point, Natalie and Bernese, they really like fought each other, and they were sent to the principal's room. But when they returned, they were both laughing happily, and I was like, "What the fuck happened?" Anyways, because Natalie showed Miss Solomon their WhatsApp conversation, now Miss Solomon had an idea to check everyone's phone, to check everyone's WhatsApp. Never before in fucking history. You can't do that. But she actually tried to. So every single one of us, and Parents' Day is about to happen where the teachers are going to meet our parents. We deleted the entire class group, just wiped it clean, and every single time we swear or we say something perverted, we delete them all, we hide our phones, we archived all of our conversations, we deleted, we wiped out everything because fucking Miss Solomon, okay, is about to check our phones, but it's already too late because she already saw that a lot of us have said some naughty words and used some naughty photos in the class WhatsApp group, and that is when like half of the class are called up to the detention room, and this discipline guy, Mr. Discipline, he's like, you all are going to receive a black mark. But that includes Bernese, because Bernese did call Natalie a bitch, you know. So this is the exact reason why Gary, Linda, and Bernese had lost their prefect badges. They not only are they suspended, they're just fired. And Linda was really upset. Like, I think she cried afterwards. But Bernese also lost. So ultimately, Bernese lost in the war. We have won. This is my first significant victory. And I was actually really happy about it. But I'm actually more relieved about it than I was happy about it. Because at the end of the day, war is not fun. Like, not at all. And the war is over. Now we have a bunch of miscellaneous stuff's going on. Like the teachers quitting. Our math teacher cried a couple times and had a tantrum a couple times. Our IH teacher, IH stands for Integrated Humanities, he's a really good guy, but his boss, the chief of the IH department, she's a real bitch. Like, she's the second worst teacher in the whole school, and she likes to fire the other teachers. So she fired our IH teacher, and our IH teacher cried on his last class, and we're like, wow, I mean, we feel for you, man, we gotta... And apparently the chief of IH is also friends with Miss Solomon, the chief of art department, which makes a lot of sense. At one point on, I think, December 24th or 23rd, me, Jordana, Linda, Cedric, Josh, Will, Antison, a bunch of other boys, we went to Disneyland, and it was so much fun. It was so expensive too. I spent almost 1,000 Hong Kong dollars, actually 900, and it was a lot of fun though. But here's the thing, I was really upset afterwards because I had to leave Disneyland halfway through because me, my brother, my mom, my family, and another family were gonna have like a little overnight stay in another hotel to celebrate Christmas. I wanted to be my friends, but I can't be because of my parents. So I left halfway, and they took all the photos, and I didn't. All right, so I will continue talking about school. So Form 2, again, this is the most insane friggin' year of my life. Now, I have mentioned Disneyland, and let me check my diaries right here. Detective, this is book 2. As you can see, it's not very aesthetic, not very artistic, and pretty messy as well, as you can see. But you can tell how fucking angry I was after Miss Solomon decided to trap me in her art room. You can tell how angry I was. Like, I wasn't even that angry when Bernese stole my diary. She stole this, by the way. Yeah. In the older one, this is my first one. Mary bought this, by the way. Really cool. You can actually find because we used to like give our diaries to one another, and we can read them and we can write something on them, like little replies. I forgot which page was it, but you can actually see Bernese's handwriting on it. I think it was shoot, where is it? Where is it? There we go. Okay, so I can't show you all this much. I need to this little there we go. I'm not showing any real names, right? This pencil handwriting. It's Bernese's handwriting from 2015. So that's kind of historic, really. Anyways, back to book 2 or form 2A. We have the Disneyland event. I forgot which day was it exactly when Bernese was actually defeated, but I remembered that I told myself and the rest of the team I want it to be done before December 4th, because after December 4th we need to focus on studying for the final exams, and we don't want to, we don't want the war to interfere with the exams. I still remember when there was a weekend where I had to, me, my mom, my brother, and my dad, we had to attend my mom's friend's wedding. But throughout the entire wedding, I was always on my phone because I was seriously discussing some really like classified shit with Jordana and Jeffrey on our next move. And originally Jordana had an idea, or I think it was Jeffrey, where we pretend to fight one another in school, in the classroom, so Bernese will think that we're weak. So Bernese will make her move, but turns out we're only pretending to be weak. Also, there's another event, because Cedric, he didn't tag along with our team throughout the entire time. I mean, it wasn't until like, I think it was October 27th, right here. What happened was that actually nobody liked Cedric. For a long time, Cedric was actually a really hateable person. I didn't hate him, but a lot of people hate him because of how much he's, well, I don't want to use this word, but simping. Because again, he was dating Bernese, and everyone's like, wow, Cedric's just, he's just a simp. Well, we didn't use this word, of course. It was 2015, and we're in Hong Kong. But Cedric was basically her dog. And Cedric was really upset, and Cedric thought I called him a dog. So Cedric and we argued, but I tried to convince him that no one actually hates him, but he was very convinced that the whole world hates him, and he just threw my book on the ground and whispered to Bernese and walked away on that day. So that happened. I couldn't find which exact day was it that Bernese was defeated, but technically it was the day we all got called up to the discipline room, and the teachers are like, okay guys, no more prefects, no can do. Again, I forgot which day to be exact. I think it was this one. I think it was December 12th. Is it? I need to look back. I need to really like check my diary to make sure. But yeah, something huge happened on December 12th. Apparently, oh no, not December 12th. Because this was November 12th. Because after November 12th, then the Miss Solomon thing happened with me being trapped in the room, and then afterwards there were still some back and forth between me and Umbrielle, Bernese's friend. where Umbriel's like teasing me, like, haha, you want to know Bernese's plan? And I asked Umbriel, please, you gotta help us. And Umbriel was like, actually, I don't know Bernese. I don't know Bernese's plan either. Oh boy. It says right here, technically won. We technically won. It was December 4th. Exactly December 4th. That was amazing. That was amazing. Okay, anyways, we went to Disneyland, and then afterwards, we were just gone. Yeah. Yeah, nearly $900. And then, of course, going to Disneyland wasn't the only thing that happened in the Christmas break. Many other things happened as well, and so there's this thing where I don't know what happened, but I knew that Keith was a terrible person. I knew that Keith was a liar, a sociopath, and a dangerous person, and I somehow knew that on December 31st, Keith had a phone call with Jordana, and I guess I didn't know it back then, or maybe I did, but Keith and Jordana had a relationship, like they were dating for a while, or well, not dating, but in a strange romantic relationship. And then I and Natalie, we were chatting during the Christmas break, and we were like being really suspicious of Jordana. And so I and Jordana chatted, and at that point I was still in the blue list. Like, I still considered myself a blue, but even though I wasn't. And I and Jordana talked. I asked her how she's doing lately, and she's like, I'm super sad, I'm super down. And I did this thing where 0 is the happiest, 0 is the saddest, and 100 is the happiest. Which number are you on? And she said she's on 5. And I'm like, why? And as much as I wanted to lie, I wanted to tell others that, oh, I'm a sad boy too. I was actually being honest. I said I'm on 35. And Jordana said she's on 5. And I'm like, why? And then she started talking about, Sky, the guy in her dreams, and how every time she laughs or smiles, it's all fake. And then I asked her more and more and more, because I was just really curious, like, what's going on with her. And then Jordana is like being very passive aggressive, and she's always like, you can't know this. Why are you asking me this? These are secrets. Only me and this guy in my dream can know these secrets. Only 2 of us know these secrets. And I'm like, what? Why? Okay, then don't tell me then. Okay, now what is he like? What does he do? And Jordana became really, really passive aggressive, and I asked her, do you hate me actually? And Jordana said, if you want me to hate you, then I hate you. And if you don't, then I won't. And I was like, fuck. I honestly don't know if Jordana was angry at me or not. Or maybe Jordana just doesn't understand how hate actually feels. Or maybe she does. Actually, I think she does. But everything's just spiraling out of control, and I felt more and more lame. Like, I feel like Jordana wasn't respecting me all that much. Her being passive aggressive towards me and her hiding a lot of secrets from me, I don't feel good about that. It's not a very good friendship. And then I think at around the same time, Natalie had gone insane somehow, and she's just, cutting herself continuously, slitting her wrists. Natalie's really good at slitting wrists. I forgot to mention that. Like, Natalie's a master at slitting wrists. Like she would do like 3 to 5 cuts each time, and each cut is super clean. Like, she knows exactly where not to cut so that she doesn't die, but she knows where to cut to give herself pain. Like, she's actually really friggin' good at it. Yeah. This is a really weird statement. I don't want people to do this, you know? Like, if someone I know around me self-harms, I'll stop them. Like, I'll persuade them to not do it. I'll talk to them. That's what I did with Cedric and Pink. But Natalie, she's just deep. She's so deep into this whole self-harm thing, and I just couldn't talk her out of it anymore. But she doesn't do it nowadays. Like, last time she did it was 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. Last year? I think last year, like earlier last year, when she had the thing with her family and both her and her mom cut themselves. I think it was last year. But yeah, like, it's been a long time, you know, so that's pretty great. Same goes for Pink. Pink hadn't cut herself in a long time, and her scars are really healing, so that's great. But anyways, I went back to school after the Christmas break, and it's immediately the final exams, and everyone's revising, and I saw everyone, Jordana, Linda, Cedric, Natalie, and they all look really refreshing. They all have new hairstyles. Well, not new hairstyles, but they had fresh haircuts, and they all look really refreshed. And I'm like, I was honestly scared, because imagine staying in your place for like 12 days, not seeing anyone, and you hear all these rumors about people going insane, and then you go back to school to see everyone being sane. It's very scary. It's almost like everybody's wearing a mask. It's almost like everybody's acting, you know? Everyone acted so normal, it was actually really concerning. It's scary when people act normal, but they aren't. Like, Jordana was happily laughing, and everyone's being happy, and I was like, what? What's going on? And then, alas, and then also, it's this, come on, we were 14 years old, of course we're doing this kind of stuff, but, me, Natalie, Jordana, we were doing online quizzes, like online depression tests, and anxiety tests, and psychopathy tests, and apparently Natalie got a very high score in psychopathy, even though I don't think she's a psychopath, to be honest. And Jordana got a really high score in depression, and I'm like, oh my god, why? Like, I already tried my best to maximize my score without lying all that much, but they were like really high, like higher than mine. So afterwards, after I went back to school during the exams, I told them, you know what? I finally have realized this. I'm not a blue. I will remove myself out of the blue list. This is heroic. This is courageous, in my opinion, because I don't know. For half a year, I really, really liked the idea of mental illness. Like, I'm ashamed to admit it now, and I think it's a really cringy thing, you know? Oh, mental illness, so cool, you know, depression, so cool, it makes you dark and smart and stuff, but actually it's not cool. And no one should like depression, okay? Depression or any mental illness should not be a thing you like. They are bad. They're illnesses. Like, if you have it, you shouldn't be ashamed, okay? But if you don't have it, don't feel ashamed for not having it. If you don't have mental illness, you should be happy that you don't have mental illness. But that's not what happened with me when I was in 14. But finally, I woke up, you know. I realized that it was dumb, and I should not keep on lying to myself, saying to myself, you're special, okay? Your mind, it's problematic and it's special. Guess what? My mind, it's not problematic. It's fine. And it's not special, okay? And it's fine. It's okay to not be special, okay? So I removed myself out of the blue list. It was courageous. It was heroic. Like, I actually felt good about doing it. I was like, wow, I'm sacrificing myself. I'm sacrificing my reputation, my status, for the betterment of my science. And Natalie's like, well, you can change the rules of your list. I'm like, nope, then that just defeats the purpose. Then that's just cheating. But yeah, I removed my the list, and yeah, that's yeah. Natalie at one point said that she, Jordana, and Keith are sociopaths. I don't think so. I think Keith is the sociopath. I think the two other are not. Natalie may or may not had bipolar disorder, or at least a kind of disorder that makes her go sort of jump between different modes and personalities. So not dissociative identity disorder. That's very extreme. Like Natalie's always Natalie, but maybe it's borderline personality disorder, or maybe it's very specific bipolar. So maybe sometimes very depressed, very sad, and then sometimes maniac. And Jordana, I think Jordana is delusional, definitely. Was she depressed? Maybe, but I honestly, at this point in 2020, I honestly don't think Jordana has all that much mental illness. I think she's kind of crazy, but there isn't a specific illness other than like delusion. But that's basically Form 2A. And then there's this whole PBL thing, which I did not mention for some reason. So throughout the entire year in Form 2, right, there's this huge project thing where every single person in Form 2 had to participate. So 7 students a group, and each group is going to have a supervisor, a project supervisor, and ours is a chemistry teacher. Let's just call her Miss Hermes right now. So Miss Hermes, and it's a huge project. It wasn't like a specific class or anything. It's like you can do this project about. This project can be about anything. Like it can be related to science. It can be related to just people, like social things, social science. And originally I thought, oh, you know what? Maybe we should, do science. And guess what? My group in PBL, project-based learning. My group, it was great. It was a great group. Okay, me, Cedric, Mary, Queenie, Jane, Tobias, Zane. 7 of us. We were in this group, and I was like, oh, let's do science, and everyone's like, okay, let's do science. And then our supervisor, Miss Hermes, had this idea, oh, you know what, let's do a project about beads, like plastic microbeads in skincare products, in skincare creams and all that stuff. It was such a lame topic, but I can't disagree with a teacher, and neither did anyone else disagree, so we ended up doing this lame ass topic, and we spent a lot of time just going to the laboratory, sort of making soap ourselves, making these cream, doing tests, doing research, blah blah blah. And for some reason I was considered like the naughty boy. I was considered the black swan in the group, because I guess I was just a jokey person. Like I like to joke around. I like to, say some dumb shit once in a while. But yeah, I was apparently the black swan, and like or the black duck, black goose. I forgot. And Queenie and Mary, like once in a while they would be like, shut up. And when I and Cedric, when we were arguing, Cedric would like call me to shut up as well. I'm really ashamed to admit this. Because I truly did fuck up, and I truly do believe that it's my fault. But one time there was a pair of they told me to grab a pair of scissors, and I was in a really bad mood on that day, right? So I was outside of the classroom, and I just threw the pair of scissors into the room. And there was a guy not a guy, there was a woman who's like a janitor, and she's cleaning up the floor and stuff. And she was really mad about me throwing the pair of scissors into the room, because it could have hit her and she would have died. If it hit her neck, cut her arteries, she would have died by stabbing in school. Okay, it would be crazy. and everyone else was upset about it. Miss Hermes was like, oh, you need to apologize, okay? And everyone's just like, oh, come on, dude, you're lame. You're fucking lame. But it's not that the whole group of people hate me. I think I forgot who it was, but Sometime later, during the second semester of Form 2, we were up in the chemistry lab, and I think Tobias was was told to sort of wash the equipment, and Tobias like, wow, it's really dirty, and Mary's like, come on, really? And Mary just, you know, roll up her sleeves and get her hands dirty, and Mary's like, dumbass. That's really cool. That's the cool side of Mary. I really like that side of Mary. The tsundere side, really.